Albert is an archaeologist, and after years of searching, he thinks he's finally stumbled upon the Cleopatra and Mark Antony tomb. However, to enter the tomb, he needs to enter the code. Look at the guide and the code. Can you crack it? Let's look at each equation. An eye equals 1, a pharaoh equals 3, the triangular shape equals 5, and this quaint figure, which is called the Ankh and symbolizes eternal life, equals 8. 5, 8, 3, 1. Joshua was walking in the Yellowstone National Park enjoying the view, but suddenly he realized something was wrong, and he instantly called the police. Why? Can you see a koala on that tree? They are endemic to Australia, so there's no way they can be roaming pine trees. Someone must have brought it there illegally. Lizzie went grocery shopping and bought a lot of milk, yogurt, meat, and cheese. When she came back home, she realized she had nowhere to store all these products as her fridge was already full. How could she save all the food she bought? Lizzie needs to revise the stuff in her fridge. Look, there's a pack of rice, pasta, and even gummy bears. These products don't need to be stored in the fridge. Once she takes them out of the fridge, she'll have enough space to store the dairy products and meat she bought. Paula got a lot of gifts for her birthday. In the evening, revising her new treasures, she realized that she didn't actually like one present. It was totally useless. Look at the gifts attentively and try to figure out which one Paula didn't like. She didn't like the earrings because her ears weren't pierced. Totally useless. Told ya. Mike had a concussion and was taken to the hospital. What an unlucky coincidence. His wife is about to give birth and he can't even recognize her. Can you help Mike remember which woman is his pregnant wife? Let's see. The woman on the left doesn't look like she'll give birth anytime soon. The woman in the middle is wearing high heels. She might actually be faking her pregnancy. But the woman on the right has her shoelaces untied because she couldn't bend over to tie them. Her belly is too large. She must be Mike's real wife. Helen has met two interesting men, and each of them claims this yacht belongs to him. Can you help Helen find out which one is the true owner of the yacht? Have you noticed that blue suit jacket on the captain's seat? It matches the pants of the man on the left. The yacht must be his. Mark, Jenny, and Kate all have the same suitcase. Can you help them figure out which one is whose? The suitcase on the left has some scratches on it. It must belong to Kate. Her dogs likely left the marks. The suitcase on the right has a security tag. See the brand? It must belong to Mark. His shirt is of the same brand. So the suitcase in the middle must belong to Jenny. One of these three people is in grave danger. They're about to get poisoned. Can you tell which water contains poison? To solve this riddle correctly, you need to concentrate on the question, which water? Only the woman on the left holds water. The two other people have other drinks. So that poisoned water is in the woman's glass. A villain lured Detective Johnson into a trap. He told the detective that if he wanted to survive, he needed to crack a riddle. Then he put a jug of juice and an empty glass in front of the detective. There was nothing else on the table. Johnson needed to fill the glass to the brim, but after that, the jug had to contain the same amount of juice as it did at the beginning. Can you help the detective figure out how to do it? The detective should pour the drink into the glass and then place the glass inside the jug. Once, a detective was investigating the disappearance of a well-known banker from his office. The detective had 5 suspects: Alice, Jack, Stefan, Nicholas, and Maria. On the banker's table, the detective found a diary which said, "At 10 o'clock, I have a meeting with Maria. The next day at 1 o'clock, I'm meeting with Nicholas. And on June 3rd, I have an $11 million deal with Stefan. Do not mix it up." The detective soon realized who was behind the banker's disappearance. And you? It was Jack. All the numbers in the last entry are the order of the letters in the alphabet. By matching the numbers with the letters, we get the name. Builders were mixing sand, gravel, and cement for the foundation of a house. Suddenly, a small bird fell down one of the holes between the blocks. No one could reach it. The bird was too far down. What's the easiest way to get the bird out of the hole without hurting it? Since the workers have plenty of sand at hand, they can pour a little at a time into the hole. The bird would constantly keep shifting its position and get closer to the surface, along with the rising sand. Jake and his friend Jonathan liked challenging each other. One would suggest something they could do, and the other would prove it wrong. One day, Jake surprised Jonathan by stating, "I can answer any question in the world." Jonathan was sure that he would win the challenge, so he accepted the bet. He wrote down several hard questions. After a while, Jake returned the paper, and Jonathan lost the challenge. He had to admit that Jake could indeed answer any question. How did Jake win? He answered all the questions by writing, "I don't know." Look at these three men attentively. They're all at the airport. Can you figure out which of these guys is married? All these men are holding their passports and tickets in their hands. None of them is wearing a wedding ring, but pay attention to the man sitting on the bench. On his ticket, it's written, "Family discount." So he must be the one who's married. Jack woke up in a dark basement with just one candle burning on the table. He saw 3 doors in one of the walls and 3 keys lying on the table. How many attempts will the guy need to figure out the key for each door? He'll need 6 attempts at the most. 3 of them for the first key, 2 attempts for the second key, and 2 remaining doors. And just 1 attempt for the last key. But if Jack is extremely lucky, he might need just 3 attempts. Nina is practicing her dance steps together with her friends. They move in a particular sequence, and all of them form a row. At one point, Nina is the 4th from either end of the row. Can you find out how many girls are practicing together? There are 7 girls. Nina is the 4th from either end of the row. It means that 3 girls are on one side and 3 girls are on the other. 3 plus 3 plus 1, which is Nina herself, equals 7. 4 guys having 5 rocks each were playing a game in which they needed to throw rocks at a small island in the water. The first guy succeeded in throwing 3 rocks at the island, but one of his rocks sank. The third guy's aim was so bad that all his rocks sank. The fourth guy was quite good. At least none of his rocks sank. And the second guy was actually the winner, but he was struck by a rock in the head and was rushed to a hospital. Who threw a stone at the second guy? It was the first guy. He still had 1 rock left, remember? The combined age of the father and the son is 66 years. The age of the father is the age of the son, but with the digits reversed. Can you figure out how old they are? A little hint. There's more than one correct answer. The father might be 60 years old, then his son is 6 years old. Or the father is 51 years old and the son is 15. And finally, the father can be 42 years old, then the son is 24.
Hey there, are you ready to flex your brain muscles? Well, let's go. Uh-oh, looks like their parents never told these girls not to walk on railway tracks. The train is heading their way. But only one girl is in real danger. Can you guess who and why? The girl with the walking stick is Bling, but she can hear the train. The girl with the earplugs won't notice it approaching, so she's in real danger of being highly trained. The police officer is asking the guy to identify his sister. She must have done something terrible. Can you guess which of the girls she is? Don't let the red hair trick you. The guy and the girl on the right have the same necklace. Must be a family heirloom. So she's definitely his sister. A robot broke into a hospital and is pretending to be a nurse. It's up to no good. So here's your chance to save some lives. Who's the real nurse here? Although they both look pretty human, the girl on the left is the only real one here. You can see a chip in the neck of the girl on the right in the reflection in the mirror. This one is a robot. An extraterrestrial came from a distant planet to learn more about us humans. It has learned to imitate real people so well that almost no one can tell the difference. What about you? The guy on the left is holding his coffee without using his fingers. Must be because he's an extraterrestrial and doesn't have any. A dangerous criminal is on the loose. The guy knows it's a beautiful girl, but she keeps changing her appearance, so he has no idea if she is the girl on the left or the lady on the right. Well, both of them look dangerously beautiful, but only the one on the right is hiding a knife behind the toy. She's clearly dangerous. A couple went on a date, but it went terribly wrong, and they found themselves on different sides of the bridge. One of them is in serious danger. Do you see who it is? Although those girls look really sinister, the guy is actually in trouble. Look closely. The bridge right under his feet is cracking. Oops. Everyone at the City Museum is waiting for a princess to give her the treasures that used to belong to her family. Two girls arrive and claim to be the royal heir, but one of them is lying. Can you identify her? Look at this picture closely. There's a price tag on this princess's tiara, so she definitely doesn't deserve the crown jewels. Tom's grandma was one cool and wealthy lady. Before passing away, she had left a note. Tom found it only 4 years later. It said, "I hid all my jewels and the gold coins at 3 p.m. sharp under my favorite birch tree, right where its shadow ends." He rushed to the tree, waited until the right time, and started to dig. But there was nothing there. Why? It's been 4 years since Grandma hid her treasures. The tree has grown taller, and its shadow has become longer too. A criminal stole a painting that's worth millions from an art gallery. One visitor noticed he got into a white car, but he parked it next to 2 other white cars and ran inside an apartment building. How can the police find out which of the cars belonged to the thief? The ground under the first and third cars is dry, but since the ground under the second is wet, it means it just arrived. Jim sees an ad on TV. Whoever can hold their breath underwater for longer than 8 minutes can set a new record and get $5,000. He never did it before and has no training for it, but he manages to set the record and gets the money. How did he do it? He was just holding a glass of water above his head for 9 minutes. Wow, and he got away with that? The luxury shoe store just got a new pair decorated with gems that cost as much as a fancy sports car. They invited the press and some VIP guests to the presentation. But oh no, while everyone was looking at the screen, the shoes were gone. Can you guess who stole them? Compare the images. This journalist suddenly became visibly taller. She must be wearing the stolen shoes with high heels. Lisa is on a date at the coffee shop. The guy keeps talking about his expensive cars and villas. She seems doubtful, so he wants to impress her and brings her the most expensive drink on the menu. And that's when she knows he's definitely a liar. What gave him away? The drink has a name on it, and that name is Tiara. The guy just stole it when it was ready. I have 6 faces and 21 eyes, but I cannot see. What am I? The correct answer is dice. 2 besties, Sally and April, go to a party. April really likes one of the guys she meets there, but she's shy to say his name out loud. So she shows Sally her phone and opens some apps, one after another. Can you tell me the name of her crush? If we put together the first letters of each app, we'll get the name Jack. Anastasia has applied for a job at a company that does professional expertise to tell real paintings from fakes. The interviewer likes Anastasia and offers her to sign the contract immediately. But she refuses to sign it and then gets the job. Does it make any sense? Looks like the contract was the final test. There were clearly no rockets flying in Van Gogh's Starry Night. Anastasia noticed it and got the job. Sam is a fan of horror movies. He grabs some popcorn and sits down to watch the new episode of his favorite show. 15 minutes later, Sam himself looked like he was in a horror movie. Yet no one broke into the apartment. Can you guess what happened here? Sam's cat, Mr. Spicy, must have gotten scared with all the terrible sounds that came from the TV. It jumped on top of Sam and scratched him. 3 best friends are traveling in Europe. When they arrived at the airport, they discovered their flight was really from a different airport, and it was an hour's drive from the one they were at. Their flight is at 11 a.m. They can either catch a taxi for $120 or buy tickets for a later flight for $200. What should they do? Look at the clock. It's 10:30, so there's no way they can make it on time. New tickets it is. One of her 3 bodyguards is blackmailing a famous singer. They say they'll sell all her secrets to the media unless she pays $1 million. She's too afraid to tell the police the name in front of the suspects, so she makes a secret code. The names of the bodyguards are Lisa, Jake, and Bill. So, who's the bad guy here? If you turn the code upside down, the numbers will look like a name. It's Bill. A teacher gives his students a task to make a presentation about their favorite hobbies. Steve has the most impressive one. He snowboards, he does bungee jumping, meets with celebrities, and volunteers at the dog shelter. But everyone figures out he's just lying. How did they guess? When you look closer, you can see that all these photos are from different accounts on Instagram, and you can't see his face in any of them. Well, Steve took revenge for this humiliation. He punctured one of the tires on the teacher's car. Luckily, there's an extra tire in the trunk, but the teacher doesn't have 4 bolts to attach it. What should he do? He can unscrew 1 bolt from the other 3 tires and attach them to the new one. Each of the wheels will have 3 bolts, which should be enough to get to the nearest car repair shop. I have one eye, but I cannot see. What am I? The answer is a needle. Its eye is used for some other purposes, you know. How about we play a little game? A dangerous detective game. To get to the next level, you'll need to do your best at the previous one. So let's see how powerful your analytic powers are. The first level isn't too hard. You'll need to choose the correct answer among the suggested options. Here we go! Look at this image. Your first task is to figure out which of these students is cheating on the exam. This girl rummaging in her bag? This thoughtful guy on the left? The red-headed guy in the back? Or this know-it-all? And the correct answer is C. The girl might just be looking for a pen in her bag, but the ceiling is reflective, and the red-haired guy is trying to see the answers of the boy sitting in front of him. The next one for you. Look at these people. Who is a ghost? This young man in torn clothes? Or perhaps this man with creepy stains? Maybe the lady with scratches on her face? Or this weirdly pale boy? And the correct answer is C again. Have you noticed that the woman's arm is kind of twisted? But she doesn't seem to be bothered by this fact. So she must be the ghost we need. Now, you need to spot a fake nurse. Be very attentive, or this play pretend may end in tragedy. Is it this woman with a stain on her scrubs? Maybe it's this smiley nurse. Or is it the nurse in the middle? The correct answer is B. This lady looks very cheerful, that's true. But are those vampire fangs in her mouth? This time, you gotta spot a superhero among the regular supermarket customers. Pay very close attention to every single detail. Maybe it's this strong woman. Or this muscular man. Perhaps this teenager. There might be more to this man than meets the eye. And the superhero is actually the teenager. Have you noticed that mask sticking out of his bag? Good for you! So the correct answer is C. And the last riddle of this level. You need to figure out which of these people is an extraterrestrial visitor. Is it this young lady? Or this scientist conducting eerie experiments? It might be this young lady with weird hair. Perhaps it's this unfriendly man. The correct answer is D. His black mustache doesn't match his white beard. Plus, there's something weird going on with his glasses, see? No temples and earpieces. Now, if you have at least 3 right answers, you can proceed to level 2. Good job! Now, you need to figure out the answers without any hints. No options to choose from. Look at this elderly lady. How cute! She must definitely love her pets. A bit too much, I'd say. Otherwise, she might have noticed something weird going on with one of them. What do I mean? This cat is very suspicious. It has a dog's tail. One of the people invited to this party is a thief. Can you turn on your inner detective and catch the criminal? Here he is, trying to snatch a bracelet from this woman's wrist. This picture is truly idyllic, until you look closer. Then you'll realize that something is spoiling this perfect image. Can you figure out what it is? First of all, the man's cup is turned upside down. And, for some bizarre reason, he still pretends to be drinking out of it. And secondly, look at the woman. She's pouring orange juice into her glass, but it's filling with something red. Ooh, we've got some pretty dedicated gamers here. But I'll say they must have been playing for too long already. There's something wrong with both of them. Take a look. The guy on the right has put his hoodie on in the wrong way. The hood is in the front, duh. And the guy on the left is holding the controller incorrectly. A true professional, LOL. And the toughest of them all. This time, you'll have to crack real detective riddles. Detective Andrea decided to have a meal at a cafe. But as she came closer, she saw a crying lady. The woman explained that when she had been crossing the road, some woman had grabbed her bag and rushed into the cafe. The detective and the woman entered the cafe. The lady recognized her bag. It was right between two women. But she couldn't recognize the one who had taken it since she hadn't had time to look at her carefully. Andrea didn't need much time to figure out which woman was guilty. How about you? If we face the woman, the thief is the one on the right. The woman on the left has her left arm in a cast. If she had taken the purse, she'd have to put it on the right side of herself. Lucas was a talented architect who designed a unique skyscraper. The construction works were starting, and his boss asked the guy to show the site to a group of specialists from a competitor company. The only condition was that they weren't allowed to take any photos. When the group was going to leave, Lucas asked the security to detain one man. The architect claimed he had been taking photos during the tour around the site. How did he understand it? The man was carrying an umbrella. He kept pointing it at different objects, asking lots of questions. But the sky was cloudless. He actually didn't need the umbrella. A camera must be hidden inside. Ellis called her friend, Detective Evelyn Brown, and asked her to come as soon as possible. While the woman was away walking with her dog, someone had gotten into her house and stolen her laptop. Ellis was sure it was her neighbor, John. Evelyn went to question the man, but he wasn't at home. She decided to wait for him in her car. Soon, she saw John opening his door. It turned out he had gone fishing early in the morning and had just arrived. Evelyn didn't believe John and took him to the police station. Why? The guy is wearing white sneakers. But look at the puddles. It must have been raining since early morning. If he was out fishing, why do his shoes look so clean? Mrs. White claimed that her neighbor, Mrs. Black, had stolen her laundry. The woman said she had hung the laundry in her backyard at 10 a.m. And when she went out of the house 2 hours later, she saw Mrs. Black put the clothes in her bag. The other woman denied these accusations. Strangely, the police officer Mrs. White called detained her for trying to slander her neighbor. How did the detective figure out that Mrs. White was lying? It's freezing outside and there's snow on the roofs. Within 2 hours, damp laundry would have been so frozen it would have been impossible to fold it and put it in a bag. And the last riddle for today is a fairy tale one. Long ago, an evil witch took away 3 women and turned them into rose bushes. One of the women, who had children, begged the witch to let her see her family, and the witch agreed. She let the women go home for one night and turned her back into a rose bush the next morning. But the woman's husband followed his wife back. He saw 3 identical rose bushes and suddenly realized which one was his wife. How? The rose bush that was actually his wife didn't have any night dew on its leaves.
Oh no, here we go again. The Grinch has stolen all the Christmas presents once more, but this time his heart won't grow 3 sizes. Santa sent his best elves to negotiate a way to retrieve the gifts, but all the Grinch wanted was an arm wrestling contest with Santa. With little choice, Santa agreed and made his way to the Grinch's cave. The two squared off, their fists clenched, each determined to emerge victorious. For Santa, winning meant reclaiming the stolen presents. For the Grinch, it meant keeping the gifts all to himself forever. Look closely at the scene. Who do you think will come out on top? This isn't just a story of good triumphing over evil. It comes down to raw physical strength. Santa's arm is visibly muscular, which makes sense. How else could he carry that enormous sack? The Grinch, on the other hand, has a thinner, less robust arm. He might not be able to compete with Santa's strength. I guess this time Christmas is saved once again. But beware of the Grinch and his cunning tricks. Who knows what else he might have up his sleeve? No surprise that the Grinch was extremely mad about the lost arm wrestling contest, so he decided to take his revenge. After some thought, he concluded that the best way to ruin the celebration was to create a fake Santa. He could find some aspiring actor, dress him up, and provide him with the nastiest presents. After some preparation, the doppelganger was ready to bring chaos to the town. The elves figured out that there was an imposter among them, and one of them even managed to snap a photo of the fake Santa. They decided to create an ad to hang around town to inform people about how to tell a real Santa from a fake one. So what are the 3 details that can help distinguish the real from the fake? The beards are the same, the noses are the same, and the clothes too. But here's the first detail that gives the imposter away: the eye color. The real Santa has blue eyes, while the doppelganger has brown eyes. The second detail is that the fake Santa somehow doesn't have any eyebrows. Lastly, the fake Santa wears a tiny earring, while the real one doesn't wear any jewelry at all. Alright, it seems the Grinch has finally calmed down, allowing Santa and his elves to prepare for the Christmas season. It could have gone smoothly, but now there's a new problem. The trusty automatic gift dispenser, which allows the elves to quickly collect the gifts they need, is broken. Instead of only dispensing Christmas-themed gifts, it has started producing the wrong ones. It's all about those keys. They must have been misplaced when it was last fixed at the mechanics. So, which keys don't fit the Christmas theme? We have 3 misplaced keys here. The first one is right here. It's an SPF cream, which may not be the best match for the holiday season. Next, we have an ice cream cone. And lastly, there's a pumpkin. It fits perfectly for Halloween, but not for Christmas. The holiday season is intense, and sometimes there are so many gifts to pack that the elves don't even have time to prepare and eat lunch. To address this, Santa hired Jessie, a kind girl who is now in charge of keeping the elves happy and well fed. On her first day in this new role, Santa handed her a shopping list and sent her grocery shopping. On the way to the supermarket, Jessie was unexpectedly confronted by none other than the Grinch. Luckily, he didn't harm her, but he did steal the list. The Grinch thought this would ruin Santa's plans, as hungry elves might go on strike. Jessie, however, was scared of losing her job, but she was too frightened to return and ask Santa for a new list. So, she decided to figure it out herself. Looking at the shelves in the supermarket, what should she buy? Candy corn, syrup, and candy canes went straight into the trolley. Hot chocolate and marshmallows could be great additions as well. However, Jessie needed to avoid heavier foods that might upset the elves' stomachs. So, items like Wurstles, garlic, and bacon were off the list. Oh, and she could also grab some moss to treat the reindeer. Do you remember the stolen shopping list? It was taken on purpose. The Grinch couldn't recover from losing the arm wrestling contest, so he decided to ruin Santa's life. To do that, he needed to know what elves eat. His plan was to send an anonymous parcel filled with treats for elves, but these treats had to be poisoned. This way, the Grinch could eliminate the elves and maybe even Santa once and for all. He purchased sugar canes that elves loved and coated them with potent poison. Then, he had the parcel delivered straight to Santa's door. It was Jessie who opened it. She unpacked the food and placed the treats into the box where all the sugar canes were stored. When Alfie, the clever elf, came to pick one, he immediately realized that half of the treats weren't safe. How did he know? Well, if you recall, the poison Grinch coated the sugar canes with had a yellowish tint. If you mix red and yellow, you'll end up with orange. Therefore, the sugar canes with orangey stripes weren't safe to eat. But Alfie decided to play it safe and get rid of all the sugar canes altogether. After all, you can never be too sure. The Grinch kept a close watch on Santa's house and soon realized that his sugarcane sabotage had failed. He concluded that in order to sabotage more effectively, he needed to get inside the house. Fortunately, there was a dinner party at Santa's, and he knew that Santa had invited a multitude of snowmen. So the Grinch fashioned a snowman disguise and prepared to crash the party. No invitation required, since Santa was always pleased to welcome any snowman. However, at the entrance stood Alfie, the clever elf, who was tasked with ensuring that no imposters slipped through the door. Can you help Alfie identify who shouldn't be let in? Look closely at the snowman holding a takeaway coffee cup. That beverage is hot, and if it doesn't melt the snowman entirely, it could very well melt one of its hands. This indicates that the snowman isn't made of real snow. It's just a costume concealing someone who definitely should not be attending the party. Alfie was well aware of the recent misfortunes unfolding around him. The sugar canes and the snowman imposter, he recognized that it was the Grinch behind it all. While he understood that the root of the Grinch's antics was his own ulcerated self-esteem, Alfie couldn't shake the worry that the Grinch might truly ruin the holiday season. To mend fences and brighten the situation, he decided to send the Grinch a gift accompanied by an apology note. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. The Grinch returned the package with a scrawled note that read, "I don't need no presents from you." So what was the real problem? It wasn't Alfie who had a beef with the Grinch, it was Santa. Moreover, the Grinch viewed Alfie as beneath him. The issue wasn't the gift itself, it was lovely, but Alfie shouldn't have claimed it was from him. If he had written, "Let's make peace, best wishes, Santa," who knows? Perhaps the Grinch might have accepted it. After the failed attempt to broker peace between the two camps, Alfie sought advice from Jessie. They discussed the situation and realized they needed to talk to Santa as soon as possible to persuade him to address the tricky dilemma involving the Grinch. They both came to the conclusion that they needed to convince Santa to make peace with the Grinch, even though they knew he would likely disagree. So, they decided to request that Santa grant one of their dreams. Santa agreed, but only if they could solve his riddle. The riddle was, where does Christmas go before Thanksgiving? After some contemplation, Alfie and Jessie figured it out. The answer was in the dictionary. With the right answer, they were now ready to task Santa to make their dream come true. They wanted to ask him to make peace with the Grinch. Let's hope Santa takes action, or else our Christmas could be ruined. Residents of an apartment complex aren't allowed to have any pets. Mr. Smith, a doctor living on the 3rd floor, has been hearing someone barking somewhere around. He reported it, and his neighbors, Evie, Haven, and Nash, were visited. Can you tell who keeps a dog? It's Nash. Take a look at the shoe shelf. Someone chewed some of his shoes. I bet it wasn't Nash himself who did it. 4 friends were going to another city. The driver got distracted and got into a car crash. A police officer arrived and started the investigation. He asked who was driving, but no one took the blame. Then the officer inspected the car. Can you tell who the driver was? The driver must be this guy. The driver's seat is pulled quite far away from the wheel, and he's the only guy and the biggest person in the group. Any of the girls would have needed the seat pulled closer. In June, medical students had an exam in biology, the hardest exam of the term. The students came to the classroom and were assigned a particular seat. A professor noticed that one of the students was going to cheat and made that person sit right in front of him. Which student is it, and how did the professor know? It's the guy with dark hair. It's June and all students are dressed lightly. Still, this student has his sweater on with long sleeves, probably to hide notes or a cell phone. In a little town, a robber appeared. He would break into houses at night and steal electronics and valuables. Each night, another house would be robbed. First, it was Mr. Smith's house. The next night, it was the Holmes house. The night after, Tanner's house. Last night, the house of Mrs. Collins was robbed too. Can you guess which house on the street is going to be robbed tonight? Pay attention to the houses. Mr. Smith's house is red. The house of the Holmes is orange. The Tanner's house is yellow. And the house of Mrs. Collins is green. Seems like the robber chooses the houses in order of rainbow colors, so the next target must be this blue house. A rich lady, Mrs. Herrera, was looking for a cleaning lady to clean her house once a week. There were 2 candidates, and each week she invited one to clean. Which one should Mrs. Herrera hire? Mrs. Herrera should hire the second candidate. Look, the bucket behind the first one is filled with jewelry. She's a thief. Mr. Jones was going on vacation. He cleaned up his office before leaving and took the key with him. When he came back 2 weeks later, he immediately realized that someone had broken into his office while he was away. How did he figure it out? Mr. Jones cleaned everything and kept the blinds open, but when he returned, the blinds were closed. Very suspicious, since he's the only one with the key. Someone has been stealing jewelry from a local store. The managers couldn't find out who it was and hired a detective. Take a look at some security camera shots over the year and say who the thief is. It's this dark-haired man with a cast. It's been a year, but he's still wearing the cast. It must be a fake. The Citibank was robbed, and the police managed to trace and catch one of them, the city's most famous criminal, Bill. The other one wasn't identified, but the police had 3 main suspects: Tom, Jack, and Rob. They were interrogated, but they failed to prove that any of them was connected to Bill in any way, so the police were puzzled. Detective Callum walked in, looked at them, and immediately made up his mind. Who do you think Bill's partner is? Look, Jack has the exact same tattoo as Bill. That's something. They must be partners or at least somehow connected. Skylar stayed in the university's library to finish her paper. Around 4 p.m., she got hungry, so she went down to the university's cafeteria to get something to eat.
Thank you.
Skylar returned back to her desk half an hour later and discovered that someone had stolen her wallet while she was away. There were 3 other students in the library, and they were the main suspects. All of them denied stealing anything. What do you think happened? Skylar went to get something to eat, right? So she must have taken her wallet with her, and no one stole anything. She should check her pockets.
Oh my God.
A week ago, Mrs. Miller grounded her daughters after the girls had snuck out for a party in the middle of the night. It's a boring, rainy day, and there's not much going on in the office. So Mrs. Miller is talking on the phone with her best friend. Her friend is in the mall, and she goes on, "Oh, one of your daughters is here with a friend. I'm not sure which one it is, though." Several hours later, Mrs. Miller returns home and asks her daughters what they'd been doing. Leah says, "I was studying." Coco replies, "I was reading and I watched a movie." Della says, "Nothing, just chilled and watered the garden." Who's lying? Della for sure. It's raining. There's no point in watering the garden. The time machine was invented, but it came with a bug. People were using the time machine to travel in time, disrupting the order of time, and they would often stay in different eras without precautions. Time police travel through time, catching illegal time travelers, and they need your help. First, we're traveling to ancient Greece. Can you see the time traveler here? It's this woman with a Louis Vuitton bag.
Oh.
There was no Louis Vuitton in ancient Greece. The next stop is ancient China. Do you think you can find another time traveler? Keep your eyes open. It's this man. He's wearing modern sneakers. Going even further back to the Stone Age, can you spot the time traveler? Is this woman wearing makeup? Yeah, she definitely doesn't belong here. What about medieval Europe? Do you see anyone suspicious the time police should arrest? This man right here. Look, he's taking photos with his modern cell phone. And this one isn't too much of a distant future. It's the 1980s. Do you have any idea who's out of place there? This is a Tesla, and of course, the driver is the time traveler. Okay, just one more time traveler to catch for today. Keep your eyes wide open. And we're taken to the Wild West this time. Look around. Do you see anyone suspicious? Is this guy wearing a cap? Catch him. He's not from that time.
Oh my God.
Mr. Green got in a car accident and spent a month in the hospital. He got amnesia and partly forgot things. He didn't have a family, and a month later, he finally returned home. He found his street, but then he realized he didn't remember which of the two houses was actually his house. Can you guess which house is his? His house is the one where the lawns aren't mowed. He spent a month in the hospital, and since he lives alone, no one could have mowed the lawn for him. Atlas and Eliza are sisters. Their grandmother gave Atlas a beautiful necklace for her birthday, but Eliza loves it too. So she borrows it from her sister without permission sometimes. On Friday, Atlas returned home and saw that her necklace wasn't there. She guessed that Eliza must have taken it from her. So she knocked on her sister's door. Eliza opened the door but noticed that it was her sister, so she shut it and locked it. A minute later, Atlas broke in and started to search for the necklace, but she didn't find anything. On her way out, Atlas remembered something and managed to find the necklace. Where? Atlas remembered that when Eliza opened the door, she wasn't wearing a scarf, but when she broke in a minute later, the scarf was there to cover up the necklace she had put on to hide it from her sister. Jack is in a cold cell. There's only ground under his feet. In the cell, there is one window, but it's impossible to escape through it. It's located too high above the floor. There are no stairs and no chairs, just a shovel. The man needs to get out of the cell as quickly as possible. He can't dig a tunnel and go deep underground since the walls are really thick. Jack would get exhausted long before finishing digging his way to freedom. Can you guess the easiest way out of the cell? He needs to dig a large hole in the ground and use the dirt to make a small hill. He can then climb it and reach the window. Ava has been wandering through the desert for days. She's tired, thirsty, and hungry. Finally, she arrives at an oasis. But to get to it, she needs to choose one of 3 paths. At the entrance of the first path, there's a huge dragon with 2 heads. In the middle of the second path, there are hungry tigers. And the third path is swarming with thousands of scorpions. Which path should she choose? The first path. Dragons aren't real, so she'll be safe there. Jenny walks into a cafe and orders a cappuccino.
Hello.
The cashier tells her it's her lucky day. She'll give Jenny her cappuccino for free if she manages to answer a riddle correctly.
Yes!
The cashier says, there are 2 buckets filled with water all the way to the top. The buckets are of the same height, but the temperature of the water inside the first bucket is 25 degrees Celsius, while in the second bucket it's 25 degrees Fahrenheit. If a person drops a coin in each bucket at the same time, which coin will hit the bottom of the bucket first? It takes Jenny a few minutes to answer the riddle, but she gets it right. Can you guess what she answered? She said that first, one of the coins would hit the bottom of the first bucket. It has to do with the state of the water in each bucket. At 25 degrees Celsius, water is liquid, while at 25 degrees Fahrenheit, it turns into ice. Emily finally went to Paris. On her first day, she bought a baguette and some cheese and went to the park to have a picnic. She sat down and cut the baguette into 4 pieces. A random person next to her said, "Hey, it took you 12 seconds to do that." Can you figure out how long it would take Emily to cut the baguette into 8 pieces? It would take 28 seconds. Here's how it works. To cut a baguette into 4 pieces, she needs to make 3 cuts. If it takes her 12 seconds to make 3 cuts, it means that she makes 1 cut in 4 seconds. Now, if she wants to cut the baguette into 8 pieces, she'll need to make 7 cuts. So, 7 cuts, 4 seconds each, 28 seconds. Every Sunday, Mrs. Moore gives her 4 daughters some pocket money. Half of the entire amount goes to the eldest daughter, Brianna. The second sister, Amy, gets half of the amount Brianna gets. Kate gets 1/6 of the total amount, and the remaining $10 goes to the youngest daughter, Nikki. How much money does Mrs. Moore give to her daughters? Once again, Brianna gets half of the money. Amy gets half of the half, which means 1/4 of the original sum, and Kate gets 1/6. They are all some fraction of 12, so Brianna gets 6/12, Amy gets 3/12, and Kate gets 3/12. Together, this adds up to 11/12, which means that Nikki gets 1/12, which equals $10. The whole sum is 12/12, which is $120. Brianna gets $60, Amy receives $30, Kate is given $20. Hey, if I were Nikki, I would complain. Miss Taylor is the owner of a boutique that produces and sells expensive ceramics. On a Friday, when the working week was almost finished, she went to put the day's earnings in the safe and was shocked to find out that the money was gone. Someone had stolen it. Miss Taylor suspected it was one of her workers. She asked each of them what they'd been doing that day. Sloan, the sales manager, said she'd been looking for new clients. Jake, the potter, said he always made 1 cup a day, and he showed all the cups he had finished that week. Lily, the designer, said she'd been working, but she also admitted she hadn't really been productive that day because of some family issues. Who lied? Jake, there are 5 working days in a regular week. The man said he made 1 mug a day, but he only showed 4 mugs. It means he missed 1 day of work. Probably the day he needed to steal Miss Taylor's money. 2 cars, blue and red, started traveling on the same highway at the same time. The blue car is going at a speed of 60 miles per hour, and the red car is going 40 miles per hour. However, after some time on the road, they come across each other at one point. How is this possible? Well, they're traveling in opposite directions, so eventually they would pass each other anyway. Carl was a rich man who had 2 grown-up sons, Ethan and Christian. They lived in a big mansion. One day, Carl noticed that his expensive ancient vase was missing. The only people who were at home the night before were his sons. He didn't want to involve the police, so he decided to interrogate the guys himself. He saw Ethan driving through the gates. He was back from his daily visit to the gym. The young man said that the night before, he'd been practicing guitar and hadn't noticed anything strange. Then, Carl met Christian near the pool. The guy told his father, "Now I understand. Yesterday, I saw Ethan putting a box in the back seat of his car. It must have been the vase." But Carl immediately realized it was Christian who had taken the vase. How did he know? Because Ethan drives a sports car. It only has 2 seats. He couldn't have put the box in the back seat. It means Christian is lying. A math teacher told his students about Roman numerals. After that, he asked them to draw just 1 line and turn 9 into 6. His only condition was that the students couldn't take their pens off the paper until the line was finished. Mark was the first one to complete the task. How did he do it? He drew the letter S in front of I, X, and got 6. There's a patch of magic grass in a field, and it doubles in size every day. If on day 1 it's just a patch of grass, on day 2 it's twice bigger, and so on. It'll take 10 days for the grass to cover the entire field. How long will it take the grass to cover half of the field? The patch of grass doubles in size every day, so on the 9th day, half of the field will be covered with it. In a kingdom far, far away, an old king lived. The king was worried he had no heirs to his throne. One day, he came up with an idea. He decided to give each child in his kingdom a seed. He promised to make the child who grew the most beautiful plant his heir. 3 months later, thousands of children came to the palace. All of them had amazingly tall green plants in their hands, but one girl had a pot that was empty. However, she was the one the king chose to be the future queen. What made him do so? It turned out that the king had given the children fake seeds. The girl turned out to be the only honest kid. Okay, first question. Who is someone that doesn't decide if they go in or out? That's a prisoner. And today, you're going to be a true detective solving some prisoner riddles. Ready? Here's a task for you. Take a good look at these 3 houses. In one of them, a person who recently escaped from prison resides. In which house do you think they live? If they just escaped from prison, they're very alert and surely ready to flee immediately and as fast as possible. Look at the way the cars are parked. 2 are parked with the back facing the road and 1 is pointing towards the street. If a car is parked pointing towards the street, it's faster to drive out, so it must be the runaway prisoner's house. A prisoner has a chance to escape prison. He has a choice of 2 doors. Behind one, there's freedom, and the other one leads back to his cell. He doesn't know which is which. In front of either door, there's a guard. One of them always lies and the other always tells the truth. But again, he doesn't know which one is which. The prisoner can ask one question. What question should he ask to get out? He should ask either guard, is the lying guard in front of the freedom door? If he says yes, there are two options. Either he's telling the truth or he's the liar, and so he stands next to the cell door. In any case, the prisoner should pick the other door. If the guard says no, then it's either the truth and the door is then the freedom door, or it's a lie, but it still remains that it's the freedom door. So, in a case of a no, the prisoner should pick that door. A prisoner is trying to escape. He managed to leave the cell and found an underground tunnel, but it only led him to 3 doors. All of them didn't look safe. Behind the first door, there were 2 guards who would see him and take him back to prison. Behind the second door, there was a room full of lasers. Behind the third door, there was a room with the floor full of broken glass. Which way is safer? The prisoner should pick the last door. The floor is covered in broken glass, but he's wearing shoes, so it can't cause him much harm. Another prisoner is trying to escape, and he almost succeeded. There are now 3 doors in front of him. Behind one, there will be 3 hungry and angry dogs. Behind the second door, there will be an explosion in 5 minutes. Behind the third door, there is a guard. Which door should the prisoner pick to get out successfully? He should wait for 5 minutes until the explosion and then use the second door to get out. Now here's a logic puzzle. An inmate had a visitor. A guard asked him who it was and he said, "I don't have any siblings. This man's father is my father's son." So who visited the inmate? Since the prisoner doesn't have any siblings, then my father's son is him himself. And he is the father of the guest, so the guest is his son. An inmate got sick, and now he has to take pills to keep his illness under control and also not to infect anyone else. He got 3 pills which he has to take every hour. How long will it take him to take all the pills? It'll only take him 2 hours. One he will take immediately, another one after 1 hour, and the last one after 2 hours. An inmate escaped from prison. His best friend was waiting for him in a car, so the prisoner hopped in and they drove away. The police are now chasing them. This is the car with the prisoner, and these 2 cars are identical. Watch the car with the prisoner carefully. Which car is the escapee in? It's the one on the left. Okay, now it's going to be even harder. Watch the car again. They'll go faster. Which one is it? If you said this one, then you're right. Okay, one last time. And will you catch the prisoner? Watch the cars carefully. Which one is it? It's this one, correct! Congratulations, you caught the prisoner! Another prisoner escaped, and police tracked him back to a recreational hotel complex in a forest in the suburbs. A detective entered a sauna he had seen the prisoner sneaking in a minute ago. There were 4 men sitting there. They said they were friends and had been sitting in the sauna for around 10 minutes and hadn't seen anyone else entering. Which one is the prisoner? It must be this guy. Look, everyone is wet and sweaty, and he's not sweating at all. He must have just entered. Another day, another prisoner managed to escape. This time, the police were sure that the prisoner was somewhere in the zoo located not far away from the prison. They entered and went up to one of the zoo's caretakers, asking if he had seen a prisoner there.
"No, sir, I guarantee that no prisoners entered this area,"
said the caretaker. It was suspicious. Why was he so sure about that? All right, thank you for your assistance. By the way, why is this cage empty?
"Oh, I'm cleaning it. The zebras were relocated for a while."
The police arrested him as a prisoner. Why? The sign on the cage says that it's the cage with camels. If he was a real caretaker, he would know this. Now, I'll be showing you several houses, and your task is to determine in which house a criminal lives. For example, look at these two. Which room belongs to a criminal? This one. Look, there's a black mask on the chair. What about these two houses? Do you see something suspicious? There are orange overalls in the wardrobe. They must belong to a prisoner. Another one for you. Can you see any signs of a prisoner? Look, there's a huge bag with money hidden. This is the place. There are 4 prisoners who get a chance to get out sooner if they solve a riddle. There are 4 hats. 2 black ones and 2 white ones, and everyone is aware of that. They stand like this. The first prisoner is in the front and can't see anyone. The second prisoner can only see the first one. The third prisoner can see both. Behind a wall, there's the fourth prisoner, who can't see anyone. Each one of them got a hat. None of them knows the color of their hat. They can only see others as described. Any one of them can make a guess regarding the color of their own hat. One attempt for all of them. But if the person gets it right, all 4 of them will get out. How can they do it? The third prisoner can see 2 hats in front of him. If they're the same color, then he knows his own hat is the other color. But if there are 2 different hat colors in front of him, then he can't be sure. In this case, he'll stay silent. Then, the second prisoner understands that they have hats of different colors. He can see the hat color of the first prisoner, so he will call out that his own has the other color.
Dustin is a widowed man living alone in his house. One day, the doorbell rang. Dustin went up to open his door, and right there she was. His wife! How's it possible? I hope you kept your eyes wide open for this one. Look, there's a photo of Dustin and his wife on the wall. His wife has a birthmark on her cheek. The woman that just appeared doesn't have it, so it must be Dustin's wife's twin sister. Dylan was grounded, and he wasn't allowed to meet even his girlfriend for a week. One evening, when Dylan's mom returned home from work, she found Dylan in his room and asked him if he'd met anyone that day. Dylan said that he'd been at home, studying all day. His mom didn't believe him. Why? Look, there's a lipstick stain on his neck. I'm pretty sure his girlfriend came over for a short visit. Another grounded teenager, Eslyn, wasn't allowed to see any of her friends for 2 weeks after failing her history test. One night, her mother had a night shift and only returned home next afternoon. She came to check on her daughter, and she knew immediately that Eslyn had a friend over for a sleepover. How did she figure it out? Examine Eslin's room carefully. 2 plates, 2 cups, 2 forks. She wasn't the only one eating dinner in her room last night. And she wasn't smart enough to clean up after. Smells like 2 more weeks to me. Miss Virginia Dell is a rich young lady who had a beautiful and expensive jewelry collection behind a glass in her dressing room. One morning, she found that someone broke the glass and stole her jewelry. Miss Dell's cleaning lady claimed that she had cleaned the room at around 5 a.m. and the jewelry was still there. Virginia's best friend, who was staying in her house that week, said that she had never even walked in the dressing room. Virginia's cousin, who was also staying with her for the holiday, said that she'd walked in the dressing room in the morning but hadn't paid any attention to the jewelry and for sure hadn't stolen anything. Who is the liar? It's the cleaning lady. Seems like right after she broke the glass and stole the jewelry, she wiped off the pieces of glass while cleaning as well, because there's no shattered glass on the floor. Okay, here's another task for you to test your observation skills. I'll show you 2 people and some items. Your task is to guess which person the item belongs to. Let's start off easy. What about this stethoscope? Well, it should definitely belong to this doctor on the right. 2 more people. Any guesses who the owner of this bracelet is? The bracelet has a name engraved on it, Sophia. This girl on the left has a name tag with the same name, so it must be her bracelet. Next up, this lipstick. There are 2 girls who are possible owners, but what's your best guess? Who does it belong to? It must be this girl. Both of them are wearing lipstick, but this girl has the exact same shade as the lipstick itself. Earring and 2 girls again to choose from. Any guesses? It must be this girl. Her ears are pierced, and the other girls aren't. The next item is the hairdryer. Who do you think it belongs to? It must be this girl's dryer. She has long hair, and the other guy is bald. Okay, this one is more fun. The next one we have to place is this cute little cat. Who do you think is its owner? See that this girl's legs are a bit scratched? They give her away completely. It's her cat. One last item for you to place. This time it's a photograph of the owner in her teenage years with her parents. Who do you think it belongs to? The teen in the photo is a redhead with green eyes. There's just one redhead girl with green eyes, and here she is. It must be her photo. Esme was having a walk in the forest and got lost. She came across a witch's house and asked her to take her home. 5 doors appeared. Only one of them will take you home, and you only have one chance. The right door is black. It's not next to the leftmost or the rightmost door. It's not the door in the middle either. Which door should Esme choose? There are just 3 black doors, and it's one of them. It's not the door next to the leftmost or the rightmost one, so the 4th door is eliminated. It's not the middle door, so it's out too. Esme should walk out the door on the left. Eiko woke up in a dark dungeon without remembering what happened. She looked around and saw a metal door. Unfortunately, it was locked, and it required not just 1 password, but 4. Eiko had only 1 attempt to make it right. Gladly, next to the door, there was a sign with 4 words: apple, bread, chair, and dress. Which word belongs here? Pay attention to the shapes of each password. Some letters are bigger than others, and each word should fit right in. So it should be bread on the top left, apple on the top right, dress on the bottom left, and chair on the bottom right. In a factory, a worker and a half make a chair and a half in 1 hour and a half. How many chairs does one worker make in one working day, which is 6 hours? If 1.5 workers make 1.5 chairs in 1.5 hours, it means that one worker makes one chair in the same time, which is 1.5 hours. So in a 6-hour working day, one worker makes 4 chairs. It was a lazy day, but as soon as it started raining, a city's police officer got a call. Mr. Jones said that someone had just bumped into his car and drove away. The officer arrived. They found one person nearby fixing his car's tire. Mr. Jones said that it was the gentleman who had bumped into his car. The gentleman said that it couldn't be true, since he had been trying to fix his car for over an hour now and was there the whole time. Who is lying? It's the guy fixing his car. The rain just recently started. If he'd been fixing his car the whole time, the ground underneath his car would be dry. But it's wet, which means his car broke down just recently, probably when he was driving away after the accident. A crew of pirates arrived at a deserted island in the Caribbean at night. In the early morning, the captain went ashore to find his secret stash with all the treasures hidden in it. But when he reached it, the treasures weren't there. Someone from his crew had gone ashore earlier and stolen all of it. There were 3 suspects: Bill, first mate, Gil, bosun, and Will, cook. All of them denied stealing anything, but the captain knew who was lying. Who? There are footprints on the shore from earlier that don't belong to the captain. One is a footprint, but the other one is a hole from a stick. The robber must be Gil, the bosun, because he is the only one with a wooden leg. Let's start with training your eyes a bit. Can you find an odd one out here? Yes, that's the one. Another one for you. Look carefully, and you only have several seconds to find the imposter. That's the one. Correct. Now the game is getting a bit harder, but I know you've got it. What do you say? Here it is. Did you find it? Okay, last one of these, the hardest one. Do you see the odd one out this time? There it is! Great job! Maya is a witch. She's been looking for her missing cat all morning. Can you help her? The cat is over here. Maya is heading to her best friend Sandra. She brings her something delicious. It looks square from the outside, but it looks round when opened. Also, it looks like a triangle when taken out. Can you guess the name of the food? It's a pizza. On the way, Maya decides to take a new route. She finds herself in the middle of an unfamiliar street and sees some cute little houses. All except 2 are blue. Also, all except 2 houses are red and all except 2 are purple. Can you figure out how many houses of each color are present on that street? Let's focus on the first 2 statements. we can fairly assume that 2 houses are not red and 2 houses are not blue. Now, one of those houses that are not red can be blue. Similarly, one of the non-blue houses can be red. If we remember the third statement that all except 2 houses are purple, we can conclude that the street has only 1 red, 1 blue, and 1 purple house. Maya enters Sandra's kitchen. Can you count the exact number of frogs in this location? "13. This one is just a picture. Sandra shows Maya 2 pictures of her sisters. Ella lives alone, while Elsa lives with her fiancé. Can you guess which one is Elsa? It's the first lady. She has 2 towels in her bathroom, while Ella only has 1. Maya asks Sandra, can you make the sum of 60 by using 3 times the same number? Sandra replies, easy, 20 plus 20 plus 20. But there's one more way to do so. Can you figure it out? The other way is 55 plus 5. Maya needs help in her magic shop, so she invites Harry for a job interview. When Harry arrives, he looks pretty nervous, so Maya offers him some hot coffee. She puts the cup in front of him and asks, "What's before you?" Harry replies, "Tea." After hearing the answer, Maya hires this candidate immediately. Can you guess why? If the answer was coffee, Maya would never have asked such an easy question. She meant the alphabet U, the letter T, comes before a U. That's why Maya is impressed by Harry's answer. Harry shows Maya 3 cards from a standard deck face down. He says, to the left of the queen, there are 1 or 2 jacks. To the right of the jack are 1 or 2 jacks. To the right of the club, there are 1 or 2 diamonds. To the left of the diamond are 1 or 2 diamonds. Can you guess what the 3 cards are? The Jack of Clubs, Jack of Diamonds, and Queen of Diamonds, or Jack of Diamonds, Jack of Clubs, and Queen of Diamonds. Maya tells Harry, "Let me show you some focus pocus too. I can make the number 1 disappear by adding something to it. Can you guess how?" She needs to add a letter G before 1, and it will be gone. Simple. Maya leaves her magic shop to get some lunch. In a while, she returns and finds Harry unconscious on the floor in the storage room. She calls doctors and questions 3 persons standing nearby. Billy says, "I was checking out the shelf with love potions when I heard weird noises from the storage. But I didn't bother. I thought Harry just dropped some stuff." Scarlett says, "I came here to buy the missing ingredient for my revenge potion. I don't have time for this." And Bella says, "I came here for red candles, but the seller was absent." Can you guess what happened here? Take a look at Scarlett's recipe. The missing ingredient is a spider. Harry got bitten by a venomous spider when he tried to get it out of this broken jar. There's a tiny bite on his right arm. Next Sunday, Maya receives a call from Sandra at 7 a.m. Sandra is very excited because she had found a recipe for an immortality potion in her library. Maya arrives at Sandra's house at 10 a.m. and finds her lying unconscious on the floor. All her books are gone. Maya calls the police. The detective arrives immediately and questions 3 suspects. Sandra's husband, Frank, says, "I'm a school teacher." I haven't been home all morning because I had 4 classes on my schedule. Shelly, the housekeeper, says I had a day off and spent time with my boyfriend. And Bob, the gardener, says I've been planting roses in the backyard all morning. I haven't even entered the house yet. After hearing all 3 stories, the detective knows exactly who's a liar. What about you? Frank is lying. He said he'd been at school, but schools are closed on Sundays. Thankfully, Maya saved a screenshot with the recipe on her phone. Now she's making a potion for Sandra. Unfortunately, the last 4 ingredients in the recipe are encoded. Here's the first one. It's a fruit that is always sad. Can you figure it out? It's a blueberry. Also, she needs to add something that has an ear but cannot hear. Any ideas what it might be? Corn. The next one is a cheese that is made backward. Eat 'em. And the final ingredient is a room that you can eat. Maya needs to add a mushroom. Maya is visiting Sandra in the hospital. She gives her the magic potion, and Sandra gets well immediately. On the way back, Maya meets 3 doctors in the lobby, but only one of them isn't fake. Can you guess who? The first doctor is wearing a dirty coat, but it doesn't prove that he's a fake. Meanwhile, this handsome bearded doctor has a picture of a woman on his badge, which means that he had stolen someone else's pass. As for the third person, she's wearing colorful nail extensions, which is against common sanitary rules, so she can't be a doctor. Maya runs away from the imposters and finds herself in a creepy abandoned part of the hospital. Finally, she sees 3 doors, but each door is hiding some danger. There's a werewolf hiding behind the first door. There's a wicked wizard waiting for Maya behind the second door. And there's a magical portal leading to a black hole behind the third door. Can you help Maya choose the safest option to escape? She should choose the first door. Look out the window. It's a new moon. Werewolves are only dangerous on a full moon. Maya escapes successfully and calls her sister Wendy, who lives in a village. Wendy says, "Come over and we'll figure it out." Maya boards a train. Maya notices these 4 passengers. One of them is a famous thief. Can you guess who? This elegant lady is a thief. The first guy is reading about her crimes in his newspaper. Finally, Maya arrives at Wendy's house. She spots one odd detail about this place right away. Can you see it too? It's too risky to leave the iron in such a dangerous position. Maya enters the living room and spots 2 weird details. What about you? Take a closer look at the calendar. There's no June 31st. Also, this chair only has 3 legs. Maya starts to suspect that Wendy is under a spell. To test her logical thinking, she offers her this riddle. There are 8 brothers that look alike. They're considered to be weak, yet they protect the king in every battle. If they move ahead, they never turn back. Who are they? Wendy failed to crack this riddle. What about you? The 8 brothers are pawns in the chess game. After a long search, Maya finds a spell that will break all black magic, but it's locked in this safe that requires a 7-digit code. Can you help Maya open the safe? There are exactly 7 books on the shelf above the safe. It's a hint. Each book has a Roman numeral on its spine. So, the code is 2113542.
The helicopter has dropped you in the middle of a tropical jungle. You're to prove you can survive in the wild. The jungle is filled with all kinds of beasts. As you go, write down your answers. At the end, they'll help you find out if you have what it takes to survive for real. You're in a small glade before a dense jungle. You need to go through it to reach the first checkpoint. You only have a bottle of water, a box of matches, and a phone in a waterproof case. As soon as you take a step, a loud growl from behind makes you freeze. You see a big lion, and it's not happy to meet you. There's no point in running away. The lion is faster and also excellent at climbing trees. It's getting closer. What are you going to do? Raise your hands, scream, and throw a bottle of water at the lion to scare it. Open the bottle and pour water over the lion. Turn your back to it and not move. You've got 7 seconds. Never turn your back on a lion. The beast knows to be wary of humans, so start making noise and throw a bottle at it. This should help, but if the lion doesn't leave, then you should start slowly retreating. This time, the bottle helped you. The lion runs away, you take the bottle from the ground and go into the jungle. You make your way through the thicket and see 2 bear cubs. They growl so sweetly and seem to want to play with you. You think they're thirsty, so you open the bottle. What will you do next? Give them some water to drink. Take a photo with the cubs because they're so cute. Quickly escape from this place as fast as possible. Every second is important. You need to quickly run away from this place. If there are cubs here, then their mother is somewhere nearby. She will come at you if she sees you near her children. While running, you trip over a root and fall. It seems you managed to get away, but wait, something big is coming towards you from the right. You turn your head and see a huge grizzly bear. It growls and stands up on its hind legs. What to do now? Get up and quickly run away? Climb the nearest tree and wait for the bear to leave. Pretend to be unconscious and don't move. The bear is getting closer. Decide now. The beast seems clumsy but runs very fast and is excellent at climbing trees. In case of the grizzly, you need to lie down and freeze, proving that you don't mean any harm. The bear sniffs at you and seems to leave, but don't get up just yet. It can stay nearby and look at you to make sure you really are unconscious. After 10 minutes, you open your eyes and feel the bear is gone. Now, we'll ignore the fact that bears don't live in jungles and continue our adventure. You're making your way through the jungle again. You can see the river ahead, but before you reach it, you need to solve the problem with a pack of wolves. Wolves in a jungle, never mind. They're looking at you as their prey, slowly surrounding you. Your choice of actions? Don't let them surround you, press your back against a tree, then quickly climb it. Use matches to set fire to the grass. The fire will scare away the wolves. Scream and splash water in different directions. Wolves are afraid of fire, but now you don't have enough time to make it. Don't let them surround you. Any tall tree will save you. First, press your back against it, then quickly climb up before the wolves get to you. Night falls. You're sitting in a tree. The wolves are tired of waiting for you and leave. You go down, build a fire to warm up, and cook food. By the way, what will you have? Berries. You found ripe purple and red ones. They look delicious and seem juicy. Ants. You've stumbled upon a large anthill. Mushrooms. They don't look much like fly agaric, which means you can eat them. So, what's on the menu tonight? Surprisingly, ants are now the most edible thing for you. You can't eat berries and mushrooms if you don't know what they are. They may be poisonous. After a hearty dinner with your aunt, you wait for dawn and continue on your way. The jungle ends and you come out on a wide green clearing with a large lake nearby. You carefully tread through the open area and suddenly hear a rapid rumbling in the distance. You look around and see a wild boar. It's rushing right at you, snorting and roaring. What will you do? Run towards the boar shouting. It will confuse the animal. Lie down on the ground and pretend to be unconscious. Run back to the forest and climb a tree. Hurry up, you don't have much time. You need to climb the nearest tree. Wild boars will eat anything they can. So you climb a tree, but the boar is waiting for you on the ground. An hour passes, a second, a third. The boar doesn't even think to leave. Fortunately, a bear appears nearby. It scares the boar away and doesn't notice you. You wait until the animals are out of sight, then climb down the tree. You finally come to a lake. You need to swim across it. The good news, you're a good swimmer. The bad news is that there's a shark in this lake. Freshwater shark, huh? Hey, let's just go with it. You dive into the water and swim to the opposite bank. On the other side, there's a small pier with a moored old fishing boat. Where will you go? To the pier with a boat or to the sandy bank? Don't get closer to the fishing boat. It gives off the smell of fish that attracts the shark. Most likely, it lurks near the pier. You swim to the bank and see a fin next to the boat. It turns and starts quickly toward you. The shark has spotted you. What will you do? Try to swim to the shore as quickly as possible. Don't swim away, turn to the shark and move very slowly. Dive underwater and start waving your arms to scare the shark. Well, you need to stop. If you start swimming away, the shark will think you're its prey. Take a deep breath and try not to make unnecessary movements. The shark swims away and you calmly reach the shore. It's only a short distance to your destination now. There's a swamp on your way. You walk around it, then notice some green mud slowly moving towards you. It's an alligator. It comes out of the swamp and wants you to become its lunch. What will you do? Quickly run away? Lie on the ground face down and don't move? Jump on the alligator's back to scare it. Well, alligators are fast animals, but they're only good on short distances. So don't hesitate and immediately run away. The alligator won't even try to catch up if you're far away. Ahead, you can see a flag stuck in the ground. This is your destination point. You happily run towards it and hear a hiss. You stop and stare at the grass. Within it, you notice a small snake. It seems venomous, but you don't want to check it. What will you do? Find a long stick and point it at the snake so it lashes out of the stick instead of you? Move to a safe distance and get around the snake. Hiss loudly in response to scare the snake away. The simplest answer is the most correct. The snake won't jump if you retreat. You step aside and run back to the flag. Finally, you have completed your mission and survived. In the sky, you see a helicopter flying by. It seems they don't see you. It almost flies away, and you need to do something to make the pilot notice you. You have matches, water, and your phone. What are your actions? You don't have time to build a fire, you need to use the phone screen. Catch a ray of sunlight and point it towards the helicopter. Yeah, you've been spotted! The helicopter picks you up and you check your points during the flight. 0 to 2 points, you're nothing but prey for wild animals. But after this video, your chances of survival increase. 3 to 7 points, Not every animal will dare to come at you, but you still need to be careful. 8 to 11 points. You have proven that the human stands at the top of the food chain. Just be extra careful around those jungle grizzly bears.
Imagine you're a pyramid builder in ancient Egypt. After hours under the scorching sun, lugging massive stone blocks all day, you get a moment to cool off. When you head home, what's your go-to way to unwind? Maybe you take your partner to the riverbank and build mini pyramids out of sand. Because, let's face it, you love your job. Or perhaps you go for a little adventure, catching crocodiles by the tail. Or do you simply head home and gather your friends for a good old game night? Which option do you think is the most historically accurate? If you were born in ancient Egypt, you'd go home and play a game of Senet, a national favorite. Senet was a popular board game, played by nobles and commoners. It involved 30 squares and was associated with the journey to the afterlife. I mean, these guys were deep, huh? For your birthday, your inventive BFF gave you a time machine they were working on, but the machine could only travel back to the year 1558. When you reach the past, you discover you were a maid of honor to Queen Elizabeth I. If you had to pick her favorite color to wear, which color would that be? Maybe you'd suggest red, the classic power color for a monarch. Or perhaps gold for a look that's all about wealth and grandeur. But then again, maybe she goes for white, symbolizing purity and innocence. You need to know your history here, since the correct answer is white. Elizabeth was well known for building an image of herself connected to innocence and purity. You're a student at a prestigious London detective school when you're surprised with a pop quiz. The question? It's all about a famous robbery from 1963 when a gang pulled off one of the biggest heists by robbing a Royal Mail train. They show you a photo and ask, who among the suspects was secretly working with the robbers? Maybe it was the dispatcher selling the tickets, since he'd probably have inside info on the train schedule. Or perhaps it was that woman with the odd-looking briefcase. Then again, it could be the man dressed in a uniform pretending to be a police officer. What's your best guess? There's no way to know this for sure, but it was probably the dispatcher that was in on the whole thing. I mean, with access to train details, he could have played a key role in setting up the heist. You've made it to the final round of Who Wants to Be a Billionaire, and you're one question away from winning it all. Apparently, the Tower of Pisa wasn't always crooked. It actually started to lean way back in the 12th century. You need to guess what made it start tilting. Could it have been an earthquake that shook things up? Or maybe the ground beneath was too soft, causing it to gradually lean over time. Then again, maybe the engineers just picked out bad material to build the whole thing, and it started showing with time. If you guessed soft ground under the foundation, then you nailed it. Although the tower was built by top engineers and architects of the time, it was set on marshy, unstable soil. And, well, the rest is history. You're the absurdly famous Italian painter, Leonardo da Vinci. You're getting paid big bucks to paint people's portraits. For your next painting, you're looking for the perfect subject. Who will you choose for the job? Yourself, of course, since it's the face you're most familiar with. Or maybe you go with a wealthy merchant's wife, since everyone you know only talks about her beauty. Or maybe you should go with someone completely unknown and never confirm their identity. It wasn't Da Vinci's face if that's what you were thinking. Most historians believe that Leonardo da Vinci's subject for painting the Mona Lisa was a woman called Lisa Gherardini. Lisa was the wife of a wealthy Florentine merchant. She had an enigmatic smile that has captivated viewers for centuries. You're the captain of an ocean liner called the Vasa, and after years of planning, it's finally time for the maiden voyage. You leave port, ready to take on the high seas, but uh-oh. Take a look around. What's bound to sink your grand ship in just under 10 minutes? Could it be that the ship's weight is not well distributed? Or maybe it's the unexpected storm rolling in? Because nothing says perfect day at sea like waves the size of your ship. Or is it that you're about to crash into another ship? If you guessed the weight distribution, you got it. In 1628, the real Vasa sank due to being top-heavy, crammed with too many cannons and an unstable base. When a light breeze hit, the ship tilted, water rushed in, and splash. It's your first day at work as a firefighter. You find yourself in a real pickle when a massive fire breaks out at a bakery on Pudding Lane. The flames are spreading fast and the whole city is at risk. So what's your master plan to stop this fiery disaster? Do you demolish the bakery to cut the fire off at the source? Or do you transport water from the nearest pond to douse those flames? Maybe you decide to order the demolition of nearby buildings to create fire breaks. If you pick the last option, congratulations, you're right. It might sound wild, but that's exactly what they did back in the day. They ordered the demolition of nearby buildings to slow the fire down, giving the firefighting team a fighting chance to control the blaze. Imagine you were born in the Victorian era, and you're living the good life as a doting grandmother. After a family dinner, you're on the lookout for some entertainment, but there's no TV to binge watch and no malls to stroll through. So what's your grand plan for a fun-filled evening? Do you pull out your watercolor paints and unleash your inner artist? Or maybe you decide to dress up as a mythological creature and put on a show for the family. Or perhaps you opt for a more conventional evening and take a family photo in your fanciest clothes, channeling your inner Victorian diva. If you guessed dressing up as a mythological creature, you're spot on. I know it sounds a bit strange, but back in Victorian times, families often entertained themselves by donning outrageous costumes and posing for one another. It may seem bizarre now, but for the Victorians, it was the height of home entertainment. Today is the big day. You were hired to work at the Titanic's kitchen for the ship's maiden voyage. You were proving to be a huge pastry chef when, you sure weren't expecting that iceberg. You're a man, so you need to figure out how to get out of there alive. Do you dress up as a woman to try to get on a lifeboat? Or maybe you jump into the water and find an overturned lifeboat that saves your life. Maybe you find some debris floating around when you were in the water, so you use it to float until rescue comes. What did you do? Here's the true story. Charles Joffin, the ship's chief baker, survived by clinging to an overturned lifeboat. He was in the water for hours, but somehow survived the whole thing. You are invited to an important ball in 1780. Since you're looking for a wealthy suitor, you put on your best dress. When you arrive at the ball, 3 different gentlemen spark your interest. They are equally well dressed. The only difference is that they're wearing different colored wigs. Which one of them is the wealthiest suitor? It's definitely the man wearing the red wig with long waves. Or maybe it's the guy in the middle who's sporting shiny, dark, wavy hair. You bet it's the one with the very curly white wig, isn't it? Which one do you pick, madame? For this question, you need to know that in the 18th century, the wig you wore showed your social and economic status. White wigs were a symbol of wealth and high social status, so people used powder to make their wigs look as white as possible. So there we go! Look at these people very attentively. Which of them is a werewolf? The girl is the werewolf. Have you noticed that chain? She's tied to the bed so that when she transforms, she won't be able to run away and get into trouble. How about these ladies? Which of them is going to get wet? The second lady's dress is way bigger than her umbrella. Her dress will get wet very soon. Now, look at these people. Are they fighting? Is she robbing the woman? Or is it something else entirely? Can you figure out why he pushed her? The man has actually just saved the girl's life by pushing her. A car is approaching them. The traffic light has already changed and it is now green for the traffic, not pedestrians. Look at these nurses very attentively. One of them isn't what she seems to be. Can you figure out which nurse is fake? The first lady does look professional, but we all know that looks can be deceptive. Look at her shoes. They're muddy. That likely means she managed to steal the scrubs but couldn't find clean shoes. There's something creepy about all of these three people. Especially the bartender. He gives me the chills. But only one of them is a real zombie. Who is it? Even though the bartender looks like a zombie, it's actually just green paint. See those white patches of skin next to the edges of his clothing? The lady in yellow is a human. There's nothing strange about her. But the lady in purple is a different story. She is a zombie. Look at those weird red stains on her dress. They're not from the hot dog since she hasn't started eating it yet. Now let's check how quick-witted you are. 5 people were asked to step over a pencil that was lying on the floor, but none of them managed to do it. Can you figure out the reason? It's simple. The pencil was placed near the wall. Another one for you. How many bricks does it take to complete a building? Just one, the last brick. Some math can't hurt. A young lady has the same number of brothers and sisters, but each of her brothers has 2 times fewer brothers than sisters. How many sisters and brothers are there in the family? There are 4 girls and 3 guys in the family. Comment whether you got it right. Now it's time for some serious detective work. Michael invited his friends to a party. At one point, the young people decided to play hide and seek. The only place Michael asked his friends to stay away from was his uncle's study. The room was likely equipped with all kinds of traps. When the game started, Daniel couldn't find a safe hiding place, and he sneaked into the first room he came across. There was only one window and one more door in the room. But Daniel heard a horrible roar coming from behind this door, so he didn't risk opening it. The door he'd come through had a password lock with letters on it. The guy looked around and noticed a slip of paper in the corner. He picked it up and saw 4 numbers on it. 1659. Daniel thought for a while and got out of the room. How did he do it? The code was the first letters of the 4 numbers, OSFN. The CEO of a large company called the police. He was sure one of his employees, Victoria, stole a memory card with secret information. She was going to sell it to the competitors. The police arrived at Victoria's house, but the woman didn't let them in without a warrant. By the time the officers returned, Victoria had already been sitting in her car, ready to drive off. The police officers arrested the woman. They searched her car and home, but found nothing. And then, one of the detectives realized where Victoria kept the memory card. Do you know it too? When the police first came to her, the woman had her hair down, but later, Victoria changed her hairstyle. The memory card is hidden in her bun. Ben was the chief engineer in a secret laboratory that produced robots. One day, he had to test a new experimental robot model. Ben shut the door and switched the robot on. But something went wrong and the machine got out of control and began to attack the engineer. Ben rushed toward the door, but it wouldn't open. Looking around in a panic, the man spotted several things that could help him to fend the robot off. A pointer, a short rubber stick, a deodorant spray, and a lighter. Which object should Ben use to protect himself? The rubber stick would do nothing to stop the robot. If Ben had enough time, he could probably make a flamethrower from the lighter and the spray, but even so, it wouldn't harm the heavy metal robot. But with the help of the pointer, the engineer can reach the robot's power button and switch the crazy thing off. A crying woman called the police and told them that someone had stolen her stuff. When the police arrived, they heard the full story. The woman had been standing on the side of the road with her wallet, cell phone, and several shopping bags in her hands, waiting for her taxi. Suddenly, a man snatched her wallet and smartphone. Unfortunately, the woman had only seen him from behind. Luckily, the police managed to find a witness who had been standing nearby when the theft had happened. The man said that the thief was a tall, red-haired man wearing glasses. After he grabbed the woman's things, he entered the nearest building through the fire escape door. Surprisingly, the police immediately arrested the witness and found the woman's wallet and cell phone in his pockets. How did the police officers realize that he was the criminal? Fire escape doors only open from the inside, so the man lied from the very beginning to trick the police. One day, a famous soccer coach went missing right from the changing room. The detective has 3 suspects, and all of them are from the coach's team. Brandon says that after the training, he stayed on the pitch to practice a bit more and hasn't been to the changing room yet. Andrew swears that straight after the training, he went outside to meet with his girlfriend. And James claims that when he was leaving the changing room, the trainer was still there. Who is the criminal? The kidnapper is Andrew. He said that he hadn't been to the changing room yet, but he was wearing not his uniform, but street clothes. Nathan sneaked out of the house late in the evening to meet his girlfriend. The teenager thought he was extremely careful and quiet. But his whole family knew about his plan and knew he would return at midnight. They decided to make a bet. The one who would be the first to see Nathan climbing the fence would be the winner. No chores for them for 1 week. Not to fall asleep, Nathan's dad switched on the TV. The teen's grandfather settled in the living room to read a book. The grandmother went to the kitchen to make pizza. And Nathan's mom went to her room, sat down on the floor, and started to meditate. Who's going to be the first to spot Nathan when the time comes? Nathan's mom. Her eyes will be used to the darkness, and she will see better than the others. 3 criminals robbed the largest bank in the city. The police managed to catch 2 of them, but the third one slipped away. No one knows who this person is or what they look like, and the other 2 criminals refused to say anything. The police detained 3 suspects found not far from the crime scene. A detective asked each of them just one question. "Do you know who robbed the bank?" The first guy said, "I don't know, but it looks like it was James Black. The second man answered, "What I do know is that it wasn't me. I've just returned from another city." And the third young man said, "I don't know the criminals. Who is guilty?" It's the third man. He couldn't know that the robber hadn't been alone.